Besides your framing package on a house, the most expensive components are the windows and doors by a wide margin. You're gonna spend way more than that than your appliances, than your flooring, than a lot of these other things. And so if that's the case, shouldn't we buy from a manufacturer that we really trust? Probably from a manufacturer that's family owned and makes good decisions, who's been around a long time, is gonna make sure if you have a problem that they're gonna stand behind it. On the Build Show today, we're gonna take a deep dive into Pella windows based in Pella, Iowa, and literally on their 4th generation of family ownership from the Pella family. My buddy Will King from the Build Show Network took the trip and is gonna give you the VIP builder tour. Will's gonna check out an entire factory tour. They've got an incredible factory, and as you can imagine, on a company that's this old, they really know what they're doing. Number 2, you're gonna get a chance to see all the different options available from Pella, so you can really get a flavor for what's available from their window and door catalog. And lastly, and I think Will will tell you this is his favorite part of the tour, and certainly mine, the 3rd section where Will has a chance to tour the testing facilities. They're really making sure that these windows, when they get to your job site, are gonna be there for a generation or two, holding out the wind and the water, making sure that your family's comfortable on those crazy cold winter days or those super hot summer days. This is a really cool factory tour, guys, sponsored by Pella Windows. Let's get going.
Thanks, Matt. Like you said, we are in Pella, Iowa today at the Pella Corporation. And today we're going on the VIP experience here at their headquarters, and we're also going to be going on a plant tour, and I'm going to be showing you all the reasons why I've been trusting Pella windows and doors on my job sites almost exclusively for the last 8 years. Let's jump in here and take a look at it. All right, I'm standing outside the Pella plant with my buddy Dave. Dave's been working for Pella for 40 years?
40 years. Yep.
40 years, that's incredible. You know, he was telling me earlier that the average plant worker here at Pella has 14 years in service. And how many have over 20 years?
About 600.
600 employees have over 20 years of service. That's incredible. Yeah. That just speaks to the retention that Pella has. And obviously it's a good place to work.
Great place to work, great culture.
That's awesome, that's awesome. Well, let's go inside and take a look at this plant. I'm excited.
Sounds good,
All right, let's go. You know, the wood-clad window from Pella has been my go-to for about 8 years since we started using Pella. And right here in this warehouse behind me is where all the wood comes into the factory and gets sorted out before it goes out to the plant. They were telling me earlier, this is about 3 million board feet at full capacity in this warehouse. That is a ton of wood, and that's only gonna last 6 to 8 days when this plant's working at full capacity. It's just wild to think about that many windows and doors get made. Now, also you'll see that's mahogany behind me. They also have white oak and red oak, but their go-to for the Lifestyle and Reserve Series windows is gonna be that Ponderosa pine that you're familiar with. So let's get inside the plant and see what happens next. So one reason I've really loved using the aluminum clad windows from Pella is all the color options they have available. And fun fact, they actually can do custom colors, and they've done over 10,000 custom paint matches to date inside this plant. Now behind me, you're seeing the vertical paint line. So as the extruded aluminum comes into the plant, it's gonna go on this line here for all their stock colors, and they're gonna negatively charge the parts as they're hanging. They put 80,000 volts through the paint, so it's gonna bond to those parts naturally. And that's gonna ensure a really good bond, but it also reduces a ton of waste. And behind me is the horizontal paint line, and that's where they're gonna do all their custom colors. It's just a really neat look at how Pella delivers any custom painted and stock painted profile that you want on a clad window.
This area is up in a communications training
All right, Kimberly, so we just finished up the plant tour where I got to see really some fascinating things with how the wood was processed through the plant, all the painting of the aluminum, the packaging, and a lot of the door assemblies. But where are we headed to now?
Let's head into the VIP Experience Studio to check out some product.
Oh, awesome, okay. Hey, this door's cool. Is this a pocket slider?
This is our Reserve Pocket Multi-Slide.
So what's in the VIP Experience Studio exactly?
The VIP Experience Studio shows off our whole product continuum, our vinyl, our fiberglass, and our wood products.
So they're all through here, which is cool. You know, we do a ton of wood windows. In the years past, I've done some vinyl and a few fiberglass windows as well, but it's really been a while since I've seen, I guess, all three of them together. And then talking about the differences and even, I guess, some of the new things involved with it, I think that's going to be really fun to see all three. So what's our first stop here?
Yeah, I'm excited to start off with our flagship vinyl series, Pella 250.
So one thing that I've really loved about Pella over the last 8 years is that they have a product that can deliver to any project you're working on or whatever customer you're working with. And let's start with vinyl first, because you know a lot of builders still use vinyl windows, and I still use some too on my job sites. But I think there's something special about the quality of vinyl window in this 250 series. So what's the first thing that comes to mind when you talk about the quality?
Absolutely, Will. Well, we use titanium dioxide in the formulation of our windows, which acts as a sunscreen to bounce off those harmful UVA rays and to preserve the color over time.
All right, so let's also talk about the sight lines too and the strength, because I think there's something special about how it's welded, the way all the pieces are welded together, and how you're maintaining that really nice sight line when they're raised up on the top sash.
Yes, we leverage a 4-point fusion weld, so all of our extrusions in the sash and the frame are welded together simultaneously, and in the factory we're taking constant measurements to make sure that product can be installed square, plumb, and level.
All right guys, a lot of people know a vinyl window, and a lot of people know what a wood window is or a clad window is, but not many people know fiberglass, and Pella has really pioneered the Impervia window, the fiberglass window. And I'm assuming that's what you're holding. Can you tell me, what is this?
Yes, this is Pella's proprietary fiberglass product, the Impervia series. This is special to the industry. We're a vertically integrated fiberglass manufacturer, so we weave together these individual fiberglass rovings together for a crosshatch pattern, layer them, and then pultrude them. It's injected with a heat set resin, so you get that integral level of strength.
So it's a whole lot stronger than a vinyl window, right?
Oh yeah.
Is there how do you tell people about that when you compare the two in strength? Is there anything special there?
Yeah, so fiberglass is actually tested from -40 to 180 degrees. It's a thermoset material, so you're gonna see virtually no expansion and contraction in this product.
Okay.
So we're able to do really exciting things like 70 square feet of glass space in a direct set unit.
Window.
Yes.
And I think that's really why the contemporary vibe comes into place when you think about Impervia windows, right? Because that's what this reminds me of that I'm seeing is a very modern style house. So
yes.
that's big. And so that's as much as a clad window, right?
Oh yeah, just about.
That's impressive.
So we have really on-trend profiles, and as that powder coat finish allows for the nice low maintenance that people really do appreciate about their vinyl windows.
Cool. All right, so we talk about the strength of Impervia. You've got something over here that I want to go stand on and see if it'll hold me. Let's do it.
Let's go.
So what is this? We got two, what would this represent?
So this right here is just a standard vinyl lineal for the industry, and this right here is Pella's proprietary fiberglass lineal. We've picked up pickup trucks with this, so I think it can support you.
I don't know. All right, let's see. So this is the fiberglass one.
Yep.
Very little flex, very little movement. All right, we ready for the vinyl?
All right, let's take this step.
Oh no, all the way down. Oh my goodness, that's just one leg. That's a huge difference. Man, that's a lot different material. I mean, no wonder that the fiberglass has been a favorite for a lot of people.
Yes, absolutely. This is the strongest material for windows and patio doors, like I mentioned, engineered for this strength and durability in mind.
Awesome. All right, we talked about casement windows a little earlier today, and I know over here behind me is a fiberglass casement, and it's a little special, right? Because of the little mechanism that opens it?
Yes.
Can we go there and look at that?
Absolutely.
So what is this?
So when we talked to our customers about their windows and how we could innovate for them, they loved casement windows, but what they didn't like was the crank and the way that you have to operate your casement windows. So the team at Pella, our consumer-focused, innovative mindset, we figured out how can we get rid of the crank and introduced the Easy Slide operator.
You know, I tell customers all the time about casement windows because we always have this conversation about energy efficiency. And if we have to have an operable window in a house, I love the fact that a casement window collapses that weather seal or that gasket to make it airtight. Because we blower door our houses, we really concentrate on blower door tests and air tightness. And so I love casements, but a lot of times the customers, especially the wives, will say, "No, is that the window that cranks? Because I don't like those things." And this is a perfect solution to that. So that's just simple, one-handed. I mean, like, you've probably had tested this with kids, I'm sure. I mean, anybody can do this, like one finger, right?
Yes, it's a Easy Slide mechanism is tested to 20,000 cycles, which is the equivalent to opening and closing your window once a day for the next 54 years.
I love that.
So,
And it's only in the fiberglass, but that's a great add to any fiberglass package we're doing.
yes, only exclusively available in Pella's proprietary fiberglass series.
Perfect. All right, so now we've gotten to my favorite Pella window, and the one that I've been using for years now is the wood window. And this is a cutaway of a lifestyle window, right?
Yes, this is our lifestyle series. However, it's important to note that Pella uses the same quality care and attention and treatment across all of our wood lines. And where they differ is in their features, options, and aesthetics.
Gotcha. You know, I found out earlier today that on the wood specifically, the treatment, so all that wood is processed and then it gets cut to length, right? And even the grooves get cut in it before it gets treated, and then it's assembled. So then it's a really, I mean, the treatment encompasses all the pieces of that wood. The one thing that comes up with wood windows with my customers is they want to talk about rot. And so not only do I tell them about Pella's, I guess, premium wood product and the window that's itself, we talk about the warranty. And so my understanding is that it is the industry's best lifetime warranty on wood products. And so, is that right? Yes,
Pella has the limited lifetime warranty against wood rot. We're also going to use three-way corner construction with a mortise and tenon adhesive and a metal fastener. And then to keep everything nice and low maintenance for our customers, we're going to put some aluminum clad exterior on the exterior.
Talking about the wood, let's go back to the processing of it. I was amazed today in the plant tour about the quality checks, right? So, I mean, every step of the way, even when they're cutting the wood out to start with. So when you look at these frames, it is pieces of wood that get finger jointed together, but literally that machine was scanning it and then finding the bad pieces. It gets chopped out and that goes to waste or gets processed somewhere else. And all the quality pieces then get finger jointed and put together. So that just, I guess it's a lot stronger frame really with the finger joints, right?
Absolutely.
You were telling me that. It's even stronger than just a solid piece of wood. So I thought that was really neat. And then as it moved on down the line, the quality checks of this window that I got to see built today, it's incredible. Even the packaging guy at the end, as he was putting the box on, he literally had a rag and he's wiping it down to make sure there's no imperfections, and then it gets boxed up. So that just speaks to me to the quality that Pella's delivering when they are building these windows.
Absolutely. All of our craftsmen in the factory are dedicated to make sure that our products are ready for our builders when they arrive on the job site.
Now I'm seeing 3 pieces of glass. Now, I mean, most of my windows that I'm doing are just going to be a double pane, right? That's kind of our normal window that we use in Alabama. But you've taught me a little bit already about the third pane that Pella has available. So what's the beauty of that? Why do people like that?
Absolutely. So as you mentioned, any energy efficient window is going to be 2 panes of glass. However, when we add this third pane of glass, we're adding energy efficiency to that window, but also Pella introduced our blinds between the glass to the industry in 1966. This third pane not only adds that energy efficiency, but it's on a hinge and allows us to house our blinds and shades here so that Pella's easily able to service those.
So if something goes wrong with the blinds, you can just simply open it up and get to them.
Call your Pella service team and we're happy to take care of it.
But you're getting an increased energy efficiency with that third pane, and I would think of much better sound rating or STC rating.
Absolutely.
Having that triple pane, right?
We offer a sound package. We're actually the only window manufacturer to be awarded the Quiet Mark certification, and it leverages our STC glass, sound transmission control. Different thicknesses of glass will help dampen that sound to offer the peace of mind.
Yeah, awesome. All right, Kimberly, so I'm seeing a Pella Reserve double hung window here in front of me, but what's so special about this one?
Well, almost 100 years after we started, we are not done innovating with our roll screens. This is our roll screen for our Reserve double hung windows. This way you're able to use a screen without having to sacrifice on the natural light or operation or egress of that window.
But it's integrated, so that's in the bottom of the window. I mean, it's not like it's visible when the window is closed, right?
Nope, this is fully integrated into the window at production so that you're able to have your window look undisturbed in terms of aesthetics.
You know, a lot of my customers, again, they're not big fans of screens. And so I think
No one is.
being able to offer this is a big thing. Let's talk about if it gets broken or ripped. How do you change that out?
No problem. You call your Pella service rep and we're happy to come out. We're able to access the screen and
So it just
service
pops out.
this. No problem.
So it's easy to change if it was to get ripped.
Yep, in and out in an afternoon.
Awesome. All right, Kimberly, well, thanks so much for showing me the VIP studio. This has been really good.
Thanks, I had a great time.
Yeah, it's been fun to see all the different options, but I'm now headed off to the test lab to see are all these windows and doors get punished to see how the innovation team can continuously improve them. All right, guys, we're in the Pella test lab now, and I'll be honest, this is the favorite part of the tour for me. This is where we get to see all the testing done to make sure that the quality we're getting in the field is exactly what we need. And this really tells a story about why all these products from Pella perform the way that we need them to. I've got my friend Aaron here from Pella. Thanks for joining me here.
Yeah.
What is this behind me? Because this looks like there's about to be a pretty big explosion.
Yep, that's a cannon to shoot 2x4s for impact.
And we're testing today the Pella Impervia.
Yep.
Which is cool because that impact glass just launched for Impervia, right?
Yep,
That's a new thing.
Yes.
So this was part of your process to get it to launch, to meet all the certifications.
Yep, validate, make sure it works,
Yeah.
hold up. Yep.
So now I'm not on the coast. I'm actually in northern Alabama. So I don't do a lot of impact rated glass. And I will say I'm not super familiar with it. So you're holding a piece of it, it looks like. Tell me what's so special about impact glass.
Yeah, so impact glass, it's basically two pieces of standard glass. There's a plastic interlayer infused between. And so then that's sealed, and then you have another piece of glass for an IG.
Awesome. Okay.
Yep. So when it impacts, it's going to break the glass, but it's not going to penetrate the envelope. That's kind of the key to the test.
Yeah.
So same thing you have in your car windshield, just thicker glass, thicker interlayer.
So you're going to see some shattering, but you're not going to lose the envelope or make a hole in our seal, I guess, if you will. You know, we were talking a second ago about some of the, I guess, the dangers if you lose the seal of your house in the event of a wind event like a hurricane or in my case, a tornado. Yep. And it's a big deal if you start pressurizing the house from the inside, right?
Yeah,
and that's the whole point.
Yep. Yeah, so if you didn't have impact glass, it blew it out. Right. Now you have a pressure differential in the house, and that's going to blow the roof off. It could blow the walls out. So, sacrifice the window, protect the envelope. That saves the people inside, saves the house. That's what we're looking for.
All right. Well, I think we should go ahead and shoot this thing. All right. Can I hit the button? Is it my honors here?
Absolutely.
All right. Are we ready? Let's do it. All right, Aaron, this is crazy, man. It like blew up this window, this 2x4. So you were telling me about the outer piece of glass, and obviously it is about completely shattered. But even the second and third layer here in the middle it's broken too, right?
Yep. So the first layer is just sacrificial. So it's more for energy, but once you have that storm come through, we're not worried about energy more now, it's about safety. So that's sacrificed, and then the next layer is what you're holding that inner layer with. So it broke those two pieces of glass, but it's still holding the envelope.
You got that Sharpie in your pocket?
Yep.
I want to show. So this is interesting to me, is like, this reminds me of the windshields that we used to have in the fire service. We'd cut out, it's that laminated piece. And so as you even the impact, it's not failing yet. That glass isn't just falling out of that window. So what's next? So we've proven that it's going to hold the impact, but there's more to this test than just that.
Yeah, the impact's the first part of the test. Now we're going to cycle it. Okay. So it's 4,500 positive cycles, 4,500 negatives. We're trying to basically stress that out.
Okay, awesome. All right, well, let's do it.
All right.
So what we're seeing here is this pulling that pressure in. They have basically a chute behind it that can either push air or do negative pressure.
Yep.
And it's just cycling that in and out. And then how do you grade a pass on this test?
Yep, so once the test is all done, you've done your 9,000 cycles, you're looking for a 5-inch tear or a 3-inch sphere can't pass through.
Awesome.
So basically protecting that envelope is all key.
So even after the impact, we're still testing this protection. Oh man. Cool. All right, Aaron, this thing has passed the test, it looks like. It's still holding up strong, and the envelope is still protected. There's still glass falling out, which is awesome. So what's next? We're going to go to the cycle lab?
Yeah, we'll show you endurance cycling and then longevity, how long it's going to hold up.
Perfect. Let's go over there and take a look. This will be real low. Perfect. That's awesome. All right, Aaron, so we are in front of the door closure testing, I guess cycling. You know, I have been so impressed, honestly, since all the Pella doors that I've had, the wood doors that we put on about every house. I've never had any real issues out of those. And I think this is why you guys are testing these to all kinds of extremes. But so what are we doing? Like, tell me what these two tests are so we can let everybody know.
Yep, so these two tests, we are taking the units and just cycling open so you get it past that 60 degrees so someone's opening and closing it.
Okay.
In this case, we'll do it 1,000,000 times.
Wow.
So we check for stuff wearing, but we want to understand, is it functional or is this aesthetic? So we'll do an air water test first, then we'll come back here, cycle it, and then go back and do an air water test again after to make sure that.
So I'm assuming you're checking for things like weather stripping wearing out, because if it's dragging across the floor or if it's hitting the door jamb every time, you're trying to make sure that doesn't wear out.
Hinges, bushings, bearings, all that type of thing.
Just the whole structure of it.
Yeah.
And then I'm assuming you test it again after it's over. Is that what you were saying earlier, the water test?
Yep.
Awesome. All right. Well, speaking of water test, I think that's next on our list. So. All right, Aaron, so I think next up, you said water test.
Yep.
Nothing gets me more excited than putting all these things to the water test because, my buddy Steve says all the time, water is the #1 killer of buildings, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so I imagine that's probably the motto in the test lab, too. Water is probably the #1 killer of your wood window.
We do a ton of water testing, definitely.
So this one's installed in a buck, and obviously we got water, you can see shooting it, but what's the point of this test? Is it just water or is it air too?
So we'll do air, water, and structural. So we'll check the air for infiltration and exfiltration. We'll do water, so it's 8 inches of water coming down, so it's trying to get that constant sheet across, so any penetration is going to get hit with the water. And then we have an air pressure trying to put wind-driven rain, basically simulating that. So PG 50 unit, that's 50-mile-an-hour wind.
So it's not 55. Just water, you're actually pressurizing it, trying to push that water through.
Yep.
Wow, so what constitutes a failure on, this is a casement window, I guess it doesn't matter the window, but what makes it a failure?
Yeah, any water that would penetrate the inside. So if you look at, if this is the plane of the window, no water can cross the plane. Okay. So if it crosses one drop past, or anything comes through this corner, so that's why we do the corners a little different when we're doing testing. We want to make sure we know if it's a buck failure or the unit itself.
Yeah, well, and I'll point out too in the video here that there is water down here on these corners or at the bottom, but like you just said, we're testing the window, not the install method. So we are having little drips in the bucks themselves, but that's not part of the test, right?
Yeah, not this one. So when we're doing a full system, then we'll look for all that. But right now we're focused on the window itself.
Just trying to test the window
itself. We want the construction to be anything the builder wants. Awesome. So how they're installing it, we're trying to be agnostic.
Yeah, man, and honestly, like that gives me peace of mind when we install windows, knowing that you guys have tested them that way. Because I mean, really, water's the #1 killer. It's also the #1 lawsuits. And as a builder, keeping water out is critical to the success of everything. If you can get one thing right as a builder, you better be keeping the water out. So can we look on the backside? You can open that door and show us those nozzles?
Yeah.
So how many GPMs is that? Or how do you measure that?
Yeah, we measure by inches of water. So we'll put out basically buckets in a 1 foot by 1 foot area. And different zones all have to meet within that criteria in that period of time. Awesome. So we have to calibrate every quarter, every wall we've got. So it's got to be held up well. So I got to have the right nozzle, the right pressure, all that item, keep that constant sheet across the window.
I'm even seeing, we got water spraying on the very top. And you know, unlike a house, this has no overhang protecting it, so that's soaking the wall above it.
Yep.
It's running right on top of that window, so I mean, even that top flange is really getting pushed right here.
Yep.
And that's really nice. That's a. I don't know how you can do a better water test than this.
Yeah, the standard is thorough from that standpoint. Yep.
All right, well, I think we should keep moving. You ready?
Yep.
Let's do it. All right, we're at the final test here in the test lab. And actually, I think Aaron said it's the first test for him because if the windows can't make it to the job site safely, all the rest of the tests, I guess they don't even matter, right?
Right, yep.
So what are we doing in here? I mean, I'm assuming this is simulating a box truck or
Yep.
similar?
We'll look for 3 different tests: a random shock, resonant frequency sweep, so when stuff's really hopping at certain units, we'll do it there,
Yeah.
and then the simulated road test.
I gotcha.
So, yep,
And so this thing will just run, vibrate, bounce up and down.
yep.
How long do you guys test that though? Is there a certain time?
Yeah, it'll be about 3.5, 4 hours on the table,
Yeah.
and then we'll cut all the packaging off, look for any damage. So it's not just broken parts and pieces; it's scratches, mars, rubs. All that counts as damage.
Because there's nothing worse than getting a window to a job site and unwrapping it and then realizing that it's broke, it's damaged, somebody hit with a forklift, whatever. I guess you can't test the forklift part in here, but
Yeah.
that's very frustrating as a builder when they arrive damaged. So,
Yeah.
And I had no idea that you tested for that. I guess that makes sense though, because you're building your own packaging material here at the plant, and so putting that to a test really makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
So, well, Aaron, we've covered several things. We had a water test. We had the laminate glass test for the 2x4 cannon shooting at it. We did the cycle test, and then last this. But I mean, this is just a small piece of your lab, though. We could go on for days here in the lab. I mean, you guys are testing all the components, like salt chambers, fasteners.
Yep.
Tell me, what else are we missing? There's lots of things here.
Outdoor testing, how it's going to hold up the wind, how it's going to hold up the sun, UV, hot, cold. Yeah, over 150 different tests we'll do on things. So we just gave you a snippet.
Yeah. Well, I will say I'm impressed, and this really just speaks to the quality that us as builders, like what we're receiving on a job site, and now it's very clear why we get them. So I appreciate the tour today.
Great.
All right, it's time to get back to Matt in the studio.
Guys, big thanks to Pella for opening up the factory tour for us today. You know, this is a tour that a lot of you may have gone on already if you're a Pella builder, but I think it was pretty cool that we got to see a full behind the scenes tour of the Pella factory. If you're interested in these guys, I'll put a link in the description. Amazing family-owned company. I know they said it multiple times in the video, but this is 4th generation ownership. And as a family-owned company myself, I really dig doing business with companies that get me, that have the same values that I do, and are gonna make decisions knowing that their grandson, their granddaughter is gonna run the company someday. That's a really big deal for me as an independent builder. And I wanna say a big thanks to Will for taking the tour for us today. If you guys aren't following Will King on Instagram, go follow him and check out his videos on Build Show Network as well. Amazing builder based out of Alabama. So thankful to have Will on the Build Show Network. And lastly, I do want to mention we've got a brand new builder, Stephanie Daly from Stephen Daly Construction based out of Salt Lake City, Utah. Also happens to be a huge Pella fan. She's been using Pella for years. You can go check out Stephanie's videos on the link in the description below. And if you're not currently a subscriber, guys, hit that subscribe button. We've got new content here every Tuesday and every Friday. Follow me on TikTok or Instagram. Otherwise, we'll see you next time on The Build Show.